on Sci-Fi Channel. Please give a massive welcome. From Stargate Universe, we have Jamil Walker Smith, who plays Master Sergeant Ronald Greer, and Alaina Huffman, who you may have also seen as Black Canary in Smallville.
Hi.
So hello and welcome to London. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Sure.
So if you can first start off by telling us a little bit about, first of all, how you actually got your roles in Universe.
You want me to start?
How you first got your roles on Stargate Universe. How did you first get them?
I auditioned. It's a process, and I got called, and I think Brad Wright and Rob Cooper knew who I was. I had done some other another sci-fi show, and then of course my role as Black Canary. So they asked me to come in and read, and I actually originally read for Chloe. I didn't quite understand why, and I don't think they did either. And then they gave me the role of Tamara, which I think is a better fit for me, and that's how I got my role.
Yay! Thank God she did. Testing 1 2. I always want to do that in a microphone. Testing 1 2, and then they go.
It is there.
That's a dream. Can you hear me? Okay. If you can't hear me, just say so.
Yeah, they can hear you.
How'd I get the role? How I got the role? There was a storm in America. That's where I'm from, called Katrina, and it hit New Orleans, and it was horrible. And 2 other friends of mine, we got together, we made a short film about Katrina. And the head of MGM casting saw that short film and brought me in. I put myself on tape, and the rest is his story. It's my story now. And that's how that came about. Yeah.
And prior to your work on SGU, had either of you actually had any experience with the Stargate franchise, or did you know anything about it?
I knew what it was, of course. I had actually auditioned for Atlantis a handful of times. Living as an actor living in Los Angeles, you audition 1,000 times before you get a job, and then you get a job, and then you audition 1,000 times before you get another job. So I had auditioned for Atlantis probably 3 or 4 times. So of course I was familiar with it, yeah, but never watched the shows.
I saw that movie, the Stargate movie. I think I took a girl on a date. It was like 7th grade. This kind of date where like your mom drops you off and picks you back up. And I loved that film. That film blew me away. So I knew about Stargate, and but in terms of sci-fi, the closest I probably got was like Star Wars underwear, DVDs, you know.
Star Wars underwear?
Star Wars.
Underwear?
Yeah, Star Wars underwear. I think I had some Star Trek lunchbox, the silver kind.
And in terms of working on the show now, SGU is completely different from the Stargate franchises as come before it. It's certainly a little more darker than fans have been used to. How does that translate when you're on set? How do you manage to try and, because it's pretty intense stuff you're performing. How do you manage to keep the atmosphere kind of light so that it doesn't?
How do we keep the atmosphere light when it's such dark material? Well, I gotta tell you, I think the person who's least like their character is Louis Ferreira, Colonel Young.
Colonel Young.
He is nothing like Colonel Young. He's the funniest, like just funny all around guy, so he keeps everything light. Lou Diamond Phillips is super funny, and Ming Na has this amazing laugh. But it's louder. You can hear, she'll wake you up from a nap in your trailer. So I just think our company, we really enjoy each other, and it's acting.
Right, and I'd also just say, like, when you're acting 5 days a week, 16 hours a day, and your characters are in these circumstances that, maybe they don't want to be in, that are really kind of morbid and could be possibly called depressing. It's important that the minute they say cut, in order to keep our own sanity, we're always joking and having a good time, and I think we have to. Otherwise, we'll take our characters home, and that's not what. I don't want to bring Ronald Greer, to my mother's.
We also
dinner.
have an outstanding crew, and they've been with a lot of the crew was on Atlantis, and some even on SG1. So it's like a big family, and literally, you cut, and then we continue talking about whatever it was we were talking about. So it's just an overall very nice atmosphere.
And the topic of conversation the last day I worked, Alaina and I were talking about coming to London for the first time.
Yeah.
How excited we were. Shout out. It's a great pubs. I drank at a pub last night. I said, how old is this pub? He was like 1644. Called like the Lamb and the Flat or something. I don't know what it was called. It was good though. Good beer.
And don't forget, if you have a question for any of our panelists, please do stick your hand up. And they always do. So straight over this gentleman here.
This is for Jamil. Obviously, your character doesn't particularly get on well with the character of Rush. Have you had any run-ins with Robert Carlyle offset, or do you get on quite well?
Can you repeat? Can you repeat it? It's the sound.
He says your character has a lot of run-ins with Rush on the show.
Yeah.
Do you get into any? How do you react to each other off stage?
Oh, well, we're not working. Bobby Carlyle. First of all, I'm here to say I'm sorry. He's Scottish, and he told me to tell everybody any team but England is going to win the World Cup. Bobby Carlyle, Robert Carlyle, he's a friend, he's a mentor, and he's a colleague. And he's amazing to work with. And, the minute you're not rolling, it's a different atmosphere, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I've been watching a lot of hockey. The hockey's a big sport in Canada, and they fight and they brawl. And the minute that game is over, they're high-fiving each other and giving a lot of love. And same thing with rugby players, right? They all go out for beer afterwards. So it's definitely that's the energy and that's the vibe. But yeah, Carlisle's dope, and I learned a lot from him. And yeah, he recommended a great Indian restaurant in Camden Town that I'm gonna go to tonight, if anybody wants to go. Samosa's on me.
You may regret saying that. All right, we have a question for a young lady here.
Hi, I was just wondering, you've got great special effects on the show when you're looking out of the windows of the ship.
That's a special effects thing.
What do you actually see when you're filming, and do you then get to watch it back with the special effects in it to see what it's supposed to look like?
On Thursday, just before we came here, Jamil and Brian and myself and Patrick shot a scene where we were looking at an X. And it was a piece of tape on a wall.
A big green wall.
A big green sheet.
The size of that back one.
You know the observation deck where we all stand out and we see these amazing things? It's literally like 8 to 10 feet to the wall, and it's a wall. And we go, oh, wow, and we're looking at a piece of tape.
Yeah. And then they move the tape, like the ship's going over there.
And then the alien comes in, and it's really small.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to be talked through it, so we're all on the same eye line and page and everything like that. My imagination is never as good as what we are seeing out the shuttle or out the observation deck. It blows my mind what they come up with.
Yeah, I'd say something that's special effects. When those doors open and close, it does not go, and it doesn't go that fast either. And you hear the wood hit.
Yeah, and it's two guys going.
It's two guys, yeah, pulling things. But so I'd say just know this: anytime you watch the show, what you're watching, a lot of the times we're also watching for the first time as well, because it takes months and months to produce those special effects. So the next time you're watching, you're like, wow, that's really cool. No, like Alaina or Brian or David Blue and I are literally watching, saying the exact same thing. You know what I mean? And it's something that's not special effects, but that, you know, I know Alaina and I both feel strongly about this. The real stars of this show are our production designers.
Yeah, amazing.
James, I mean, the ship, if you walked on, the ship is 3 times the size of this room. And it looks and feels when you're on it like you're on a fucking spaceship. So there's no acting involved. You know what I mean? It's doing it for you. You just have to stand there like these beautiful people, you know, and get your Stargate on.
And I'd just like to point out that neither, for a second, none of them flinched at that point. They were like so into it. It was awesome. Right, we got a gentleman here with a question.
This is a public announcement. Could Jordan
I didn't do it.
Bradshaw please make his way to the glass entrance? That's Jordan Henry Bradshaw to make his way to the glass entrance. Thank you.
Okay, here's a question from Waldo.
Where's Waldo? Oh, there he is.
We found him.
Have you ever worked with any of your fellow cast members before Stargate Universe?
Did you hear that? I didn't hear you.
Have you ever worked with any of your fellow cast members before Stargate Universe?
Oh, that's a good question.
Have you ever?
Have you ever worked with any of the people we're working with now before this?
Oh. No.
No, but I used to watch La Bamba religiously. Ba la 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 Bamba.
Have you met Eastside then? Because he's in November too.
Oh, he was his father.
He plays Richie Valence's brother.
He plays his little brother.
Yes.
In what?
La Bamba.
Oh.
That's a classic.
It is.
Shout out to Lou Diamond Phillips.
Woohoo!
Great actor.
Great guy.
And we have a question from this young man here.
Hi, my question is to you, how come you keep on changing the episode? From the start, when it started to a set point, it started changing. For example, I think it was episode 89, when they were coming back, they actually cut it out, and then they somehow managed to get to a different world and stuff like that. And then you can also notice like differences and errors and mistakes. I used to be a #1 Stargate fan. After that, it just like started to like dissipate.
He says his question was revolving around continuity errors and the fans picking them up, and how difficult is it for you to try? Yeah. No. I'm just saying your question is around the errors and how they deal with that, and how that's not criticizing. You're fine. That's okay. His question is around how it is for you guys to work with the fans because of the continuity, and how they are very good at spotting the things, and how it is for you to work in an audience like that.
Oh, okay. He's talking about.
Oh, how the fans.
The fans, yeah.
Pay extreme attention to
Yes.
everything. It's passion. I love passion. That's great. I think it's amazing. At the end of the day, I'm an actor on a TV show, so it's I really enjoy my work and I love being there, and I catch some of the flaws sometimes too, and I think that's part of the job. It's in every movie and it's in every show.
I'd say we have someone who, we have a whole team of people who their job is continuity, from our makeup to our wardrobe to Amanda, who's our script supervisor, and I think they do a phenomenal job. Here goes a little continuity thing for you. We shoot out of order a lot. So we'll shoot the 3rd episode, then we'll go and shoot the 8th, then we'll shoot the 5th, and then the crazy thing about that is 4 episodes in a row will all take place in 2 days. And we've shot those episodes over the course of 8 weeks. So if you notice, when Alaina and I go to LA, where we're from, we get a little color, a little tan. One scene we may have a tan, and the next scene we might not. So if you can spot that, holla at your boy.
I think he makes a really good point. If there's 10% that's caught, there's 90% that's caught by our team. So they do an amazing job, and the little bits and the little errors that that people want to pick up on are, I think sometimes could be ignored.
And it's good for the show, right? Because ultimately, science fiction is about the detail.
People are paying attention.
And we have a question from this young gentleman here.
If you could be another character, who would it be?
If we could be another character on the show?
Yes.
We could be another one?
Yeah. I'd be Rush.
Right? I would be Roma. Oh, whoops. I can't say Rona Mitra.
Yeah, you can.
I'd be Rona Mitra.
Kiva. Oh, Kiva's good. You guys haven't seen Kiva yet. She's coming up.
She wears leather.
She wears lots of leather.
She's in Doomsday.
She has a whip.
I'd be a Kino ball. How about that?
I think
Get real voyeuristic with it.
I think
A Kino ball, a lot of.
I'd be James. Everyone likes her.
I think there's a large contingent of the male audience that just suddenly got a little happy at the mention of leather. Right, and we're just going to pass it to this lady here.
This question's for Alaina. At the moment in the show, you're pregnant. Are you drawing from experience in that? Because it's quite a turbulent time. And also, do you have to wear a cushion?
No, I was pregnant in the show. We finished shooting episode 20 last season, October 28th, and I had my third child December 8th. So
her baby was the youngest member of Stargate ever, because technically it's on camera.
Yeah, but I didn't get paid twice. David Blue was the first one to ask me that question. He's like, "Do you get a double salary?" So no, I did not have to wear a cushion. I had my very own ball in my belly, and I actually got pregnant. I think it was the 4th episode in, and it wasn't planned. But
what day did you get pregnant on?
it was. I think it was a really cool storyline. And when I first told Brad and Rob that I was pregnant, it wasn't something that they necessarily wanted for TJ, but it fit in with the storyline and with the storyline with Young, and then I think it was a really interesting storyline, and I was able to pull from my experience of being a pregnant woman in those circumstances.
And we have a question from a young man here.
Hi.
What's up, brother? We took a great picture earlier together.
The whole crew.
The whole crew.
Who's the most practical joker on the set?
Repeat it.
Sorry.
I'm just having trouble.
It's really loud back here.
Gotcha. He said the chemistry between you is quite evident, it's quite good, and you're quite positive and upbeat and things. Who's the biggest practical joker, and have neither of you been caught with any practical jokes on the set?
Like I said, Louis is really funny, and he keeps everything really light, and he sort of makes fun of his character because
Colonel
he's
Young. Colonel Young.
Colonel Young, we don't really play. David likes to play a game, but no one really ever plays
David
along.
don't like to play jokes.
Yeah, we're not really.
David like to play on his phone.
Well, he does this thing where, like, if you look, you hit each other or something, but he's the only one who plays it, so I don't think it counts. But he's been playing it for a season and a half now, so he's obviously enjoying himself.
I have a question from a young man here.
This is a question to both of you. What is your favorite episode?
Who was the question for?
Well, for both of you, what have been your favorite episodes?
Oh, gosh. Go ahead.
No,
I love.
like them all.
Yeah, I think they're all phenomenal. I actually, in the first season, I thought Time was such an amazing episode, and actually, we had a clause in all of our contracts that the first 6 episodes were sort of a trial period, and we were all sort of, on a noose, so to speak. If things didn't work out, or if the show wasn't going to work out, and Time happened to be the episode that we got right before our contracts would be renewed. and we all die in time. And sorry if no one's seen it, but I think you all have.
They sure did kill us all.
They killed us all, and it was like a joke. Like Rob Cooper was like, yeah, we wanted to give you guys that and just to make you sweat. So, but I thought it was a great episode. It was shot really, really great. In the second season, my favorite episode is Aftermath, and that will be the first episode back. No, second. Intervention and then Aftermath.
Oh yeah, okay, I know. Yeah. I figured out what that episode was about. Time was a hip episode because on a soundstage about this big, they rigged it, and for a whole week it rained on this soundstage. And they had this water system where it would rain onto this sand, dirt, and it would absorb it and then regenerate it, and it would keep raining. So that was really, really hip.
It stunk in there by the end of the week.
Yeah, and I'd say the third episode, which is the third part of the pilot, when we shot in White Sands, New Mexico, that was really hip because it was 127 degrees, and it was like it's like a military base in the States, and they take that very seriously. And there were certain areas that you couldn't look, because if you looked, then you were in breach of like some sort of government bullshit. So of course we took pictures. Like,
I have a question for a young lady here.
Hi. The Sanctuary is a different show.
We took a good picture too, girl.
We did.
Show everyone the picture we took.
I don't think they're allowed to see it. Sanctuary have started doing this thing on Twitter where they ask questions and stuff like trivia or answer fan questions. Would that be something that Stargate Universe could do? And Jamil, when are you going to get a Twitter account?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I got that one. She mentions that other shows have Twitter accounts, in particular Sanctuary, where they answer fan questions and ask fans to submit questions for it. Will that be something that we'll be seeing in Stargate Universe? And also, she wants to know when and if Jamil is going to have a Twitter account.
He's not allowed.
I would get in trouble.
Believe me, guys. Actually, well, we get fan questions from MGM, but I think that might come from the website. That's a very good question.
So how do we get questions?
From a Twitter account, like Sanctuary. Are you saying Sanctuary has one? I'll talk to them, and yeah, we should set one up for sure. I know. Does anyone here read Joe Malazzi's blog? He's got a blog, yeah. So a lot of times he'll ask for fan questions for a certain character. I know I just submitted a bunch of them. Sorry, I laugh because I put.
And we have Twitterers on our show.
Yeah,
you guys,
we
and
all
just so you
tweet.
know, while we're filming, people will be checking their Twitter from fans, which is hip.
Yep.
Just know that next time you Twitter someone from the show,
Yeah.
they could be on the Destiny looking at it.
And even some of our crew, like John Lennox tweets, he's our producer. Amanda McLean, who's our script supervisor, she tweets kind of what's going on. David Blue is like a Twitter bug, so is Migna.
I got a Facebook. Jamil Smith, holla at your boy.
I get a funny feeling your picture will be on Facebook with her very shortly. I think your picture together with the young lady will be on Facebook at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm making my profile pic. I swear to God I will.
She probably will too. I got a question for this young man.
To Alaina, did your success in Universe affect the amount of times you'd appear in Smallville? I mean, did they want you in more episodes, or could you just unavailable because of the Universe stuff?
Well, the season finale of season 8 on Smallville, I did while we were shooting Universe. And then I was pregnant for a year. So actually one of our producers, or one of the executives at Sci-Fi that's over our show, her husband actually works as a writer on Smallville, and we're good friends, and oftentimes throughout the year they'd be pitching stories, and they'd be like, Brian, is Canary still pregnant? And so I was just back on the season finale of season 9, and I am hoping that they'll bring me back in season 10. I've let them know that what my hiatuses are, and Stargate's really good about working it in. The studios are literally 10 minutes apart, so it could work.
And how was it like being Black Canary on Smallville? I mean, what were the two different sets like for you?
Oh, they're both great. I have a great time on both sets. The casts of both shows are wonderful. Smallville itself is, it's such a long-running show. I love the superhero aspect, and I love the Justice League. I love working with Tom and Justin. We laugh all day long, and it's really fun. They're great guys to work with, and Allie's wonderful, Allison Mack. And I love Universe. It's like a family. In fact, when we had our season hiatus, we had a big meeting in the boardroom, and we sort of discussed ideas for season 2 and what would happen. And Brad Wright and Robert Cooper were like, "Can you guys just take a break from each other?" And we were like, "Why?" And they're like, "Just take a break. You guys hang out way too much. You guys, it's not going to last." And sure enough, we all made time to see each other over our hiatus. So it's a good time.
Okay, and if you have any questions, I saw your hand go there.
Hi. If there was an actual Stargate in real life, would you like to go through it? And if you did, what types of worlds would you like to visit?
If there was a Stargate in real life? You mean there isn't?
There could be. What world would I want to visit? I don't know if I can really say what kind of world I'd visit, because we're recording this, but I'd visit a world where, you know what, I'm going to give a real deal answer. I'd like to visit a world, man, where there's no wars. There's it's just like people are really down with like sharing things, and like people understand we're part of a collective. People get off that individual me shit, and people are like down for being part of something that's big and beautiful. And yeah, that's the world that I'd want to live in, you know? But I want it to look like this one. I'm not into like crazy rocks and aliens and none of that. I want it to be another human world.
I kind of like what we're doing. I think I'd like the option to go home, but I think it's really interesting to be able to explore the way we're exploring on Universe.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today. Please give a massive round of applause to our panel guests.
Thank you guys. Thank you, London. Thank you, England. You guys are amazing, really cool, down-to-earth people, and we've had an amazing time. Thank you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamil Walker
Thank you.
Smith.
Wait, one more thing. I want to shout out these amazing, our amazing crew holding it down. You know what I mean? The gentleman here, and the woman up there. Thank you guys.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamil Walker Smith and Alaina Huffman.
Thank you, everybody.
Camden Town, Indian, tonight.
Thank you, brother. Nice to see you. John showed up at the perfect time.